You said before you don't know he's on the same level as Kyle Hamilton or Derwin James just yet. I would say this guy at number 1 is on that level, and that is Caleb Downs from Ohio State. For the second year in a row, Caleb Downs is my number 1 safety in college football. And since PFF has started doing position rankings, I believe in 2017, 2018, somewhere around then, there's only been 4 players ever who have been the number 1 player at their position for multiple years. Those 4 players, Trevor Lawrence, Derek Stingley Jr., Brock Bowers, and now Caleb Downs. That's a pretty elite group of players right there for Caleb Downs.
That's a good set right there. Yeah.
And Caleb Downs, I think, is the best defensive player in college football. The only reason why I'm not saying he's the best player in college football is because of his teammate and Jeremiah Smith, who we broke down already, the best receiver in the country. Lawrence, Stingley, Bowers. All 3 of those guys were top 15 picks in the NFL draft. I can tell you right now, Caleb Downs is going to be a top 15 pick in the 2026 NFL draft, which is saying a lot considering how rare it is for safeties to actually be picked in the top 15. We just saw Malachi Starks fall all the way to the end of the first round, despite being an elite player because he plays safety, right? I do think Caleb Downs is at least a top 5 player in this draft. He could really push the envelope for being one of the highest safeties drafted we've ever seen. I believe Eric Berry was one of the highest safeties drafted ever at 4th overall. Sean Taylor's also around that range.
Jamal Adams doesn't he have the record? Wasn't he 6th overall?
He was like 6, but Eric Berry went 4 or 5, and then someone else went 2, I believe. Someone else pointed out to me, like back in the 90s, when someone went 2 at safety. But I don't think he'll go number 1 or 2.
Eric Berry went 5th. You're right about
5th,
that.
and then Sean Taylor, I believe, went 5th too.
Okay, yeah.
So it's around that range. But anyways, he's going to be he should be a top 5 pick. I would argue right now he's the best safety in college football, obviously. Also, I believe he's the best player in next year's draft too, since Jeremiah Smith is not eligible to be picked next year. But Caleb Downs transferred from Alabama last offseason after a great true freshman year at Alabama, which is why he's my number 1 safety last year. And he's been the most valuable safety in the country over the past 2 years, according to our wins above average metric. 91.7 PFF grade over the last 2 years is second among FBS safeties. 91.2 coverage grade, third among FBS safeties over the last 2 years. Also a fantastic run defender, leading all players on this list with 35 run defense stops over the last 2 years, and leading all the players on this list with an 88.5 run defense grade since 2023. He could thrive at free safety, slot corner, in the box, and also you saw that Indiana punt return. He's a great returner as well. Caleb Downs, the younger brother of Josh Downs, is just an unbelievable generational type of talent that we have at safety right now, and pretty easily the number 1 player on this list.
Are we getting any reps of him at running back this year, or is that off the table?
I don't know. We had that kind of question last year.
Just wasn't sure if Ohio State was trying to stack up the offense a little bit more. But no, I feel like it's a lot of the same things I said on this very episode a year ago when we talked about Caleb Downs. For me, the first part is wisdom and football IQ way beyond his. He could play safety in the NFL right now.
Oh, he's
no
he could have done that for his freshman year, honestly.
Absolutely, no question about that. I think when you look at his football IQ and the ways, all the different ways that Jim Knowles used him, especially by the end of last year, as kind of there was times when he was a little bit deeper, but he was almost lined up like their middle linebacker running that Tampa 2 defense, and he was that Tampa guy sitting in there. The run defense is spectacular. His instincts are absolutely off the charts. He's not just the best safety in college football. He's the best defensive player in college football. I really believe that. He just is so darn good. He's so fundamentally sound. He sees things before they happen. He plays to the whistle. He picks the ball off. He's spinning off guys at Indiana and returning punts for touchdowns. We were there for that one. I've almost run out of things to say about Caleb Downs at this point, because we're going to be talking about him for the next year as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. So, I mean, that's just what you have, a special football player. And to me, what stands out even more than the physical traits is his football IQ way beyond his years. I really think he could start in the NFL at safety right now, and he's just stuck in college for 1 more year.
I think he could be one of the top 15 safeties, even maybe a top 10 safety right now in the NFL. That's how special of a player this guy is. Honestly, I really do think this guy's worth a top 5, top 10 pick, which is saying a lot considering he is a safety. He's just that special of a football player right now. And one thing I love watching with Caleb Downs' tape is that he plays so fast, but he's so under control too. Like, there's so many times where he's in the backfield making a tackle for loss, coming like a missile, and still has the best form of any tackler in safety. I think
Because he's ahead of it too. It's not just that he's fast. Like, it's not like he runs a 4.2. He's probably a 4.4 guy somewhere in there. But it's because he's so ahead of it. And he's one of those players, and you get rare ones at every position where he sees things before they happen. He really does. Whether it's, it could be in the run game, seeing run schemes from kind of 8-9 yards deep. It could be back in a deep half. Even there's times, was it against Oregon in scramble drills? Even in a scramble drill, he just knew what was coming from Dylan Gabriel. He knew where the football was going. He just has a level, just this cerebral level of play that you cannot teach. You just don't teach guys this level of instinct. That's what makes him so great.
And he's always making the play when they need it the most. I remember, I know they lost the game, but Michigan hit a big interception in that game. Penn State on the 4th and goal, where we were actually standing right there. He made the forced completion on that 4th and goal right there. The Texas playoff game where they ran outside zone.
Second and goal at the toss sweep.
Toss sweep, and he made the tackle for a tackle for loss on that, and they ended up winning that game in the semifinal too. So every time Ohio State needs a big play, and the Indiana punt return touchdown really put that game away too. So every time Ohio State needs a big play, Caleb Downs always seems to be making it for Ohio State. Easily the number one safety in college football right now, and arguably the best defensive player in college football, and I would say right now he's the second best player in college football and the best player in the 2026 NFL Draft. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.